Hey, gang, I do have a Friday morning editorial for you, and I don't even know what to say as a preface to this one. I'm going to put a link to this story in the description box below. You can go down there, click the link, and read the whole story for yourself. But I don't know. I'm just going to get right into it, and then we'll discuss it as I go, and then I'll let you comment in the comment section of how you feel about all of this. Thank you to The Guardian for bringing this to our attention. Donald Trump has defended the police officer who shot dead Rayshard Brooks in Atlanta as a number of officers called in sick after their colleague was charged with murder. Garrett Rolfe, a white officer, shot Brooks, who was black, twice in the back as Brooks pointed a police taser stun gun in his direction while running away. Officer Garrett Rolfe faces 11 charges over the killing. A significant number of officers did not show up for work on Wednesday night, the city's police department said. Atlanta's mayor suggested the city may have to call in officers from other jurisdictions. Brooks' death has prompted protests in the city and elsewhere as it emerged that Brooks, 27, was 18 feet away from Rolfe and running away when he pointed the taser, which prosecutors say Garrett Rolfe knew was not functional before Brooks was shot to death. The protests over Brooks' death have added to demonstrations against racism and police brutality across the country following the death of George Floyd in Minneapolis last month, where the 46-year-old was killed when a white police officer kneeled on his neck. Amid the outrage, President Trump appeared on Fox News where he defended Rolfe and appeared to criticize Brooks. President Trump said, quote, to Sean Hannity, "You can't resist a police officer, and if you have a disagreement, you have to take it up after the fact. It was out of control. The whole situation was out of control." Now, I agree on something here with President Trump that it was out of control. Brooks was wrong for fighting with the officers and for resisting arrest. But I'm not going to defend that officer, and you may know why by the end of the editorial. We'll see if I can remember to get back to it. Going on, President Trump said police have been treated unfairly in the U.S., and to some degree, some cops are being treated unfairly. I'll agree with that. But it's because of the bad cops, their colleagues who are abusing people and brutalizing people. That's why. John can be a great, nice, polite officer, but if Scott, I'm just making up names, is a dick, Scott goes out to a call, he's a dick, then maybe 2 days later, John gets called out to the same location. John shows up. He's a really nice guy. How you guys doing? They treat him like a dick. He's like, whoa, what the fuck? They called me pig. Not because of you, because of Scott. He's a dick. That's why good cops are being treated unfairly, because of bad cops. Little lesson for all you law enforcement officers watching my videos. He said, this is going on. President Trump said, quote, "It's up to justice right now. It's going to be up to justice. I hope Rolfe gets a fair shake because police have not been treated fairly in our country. But again, you can't resist a police officer like that. You can't do it. That's a huge mistake." The Atlanta Police Department sought to downplay the number of officers who did not report for duty, but admitted there was a significant number of absences. The Atlanta Police Department said in a tweet, earlier suggestions that multiple officers from each zone had walked off the job were inaccurate. The department is experiencing a higher than usual number of call-outs with the incoming shift. We have enough resources to maintain operations and remain able to respond to incidents. Atlanta's Mayor Keisha Lance Bottoms told CNN there were enough officers to cover the city, but said the department may have to call in police from other agencies. She said, "We have other partners, so we will be fine." The most serious charge against Rolfe, felony murder, carries a sentence of life in prison or the death penalty should prosecutors choose to seek it. Actor and director Tyler Perry, who lives in the city, has offered to pay for Rayshard Brooks' funeral. Way to go, Tyler Perry. You rock, brother. And so it goes on. And like I said, I'm going to put a link to this in the description box below, and you can go down and read it. It's actually, there's more to read, and there's quite an interesting read. It talks about Americans have had enough, and then there's really some really interesting thing about racism there that you can go and read in that story down below in the description box. But the thing that I really want to point out before we close this, because there are a lot of people who are defending that police officer and saying, well, Rayshard Brooks was drinking and driving. He resisted the police. He punched a cop, and he stole a cop's taser, and then he ran away. The cops were right. Here's why I'm saying the cop was wrong. Now, let me walk you through it real quick. This is going to be what we call a 30-second synopsis, I guess, something like that. Rayshard Brooks was drinking and driving allegedly. That's why they gave him a field sobriety test. That's why they were going to arrest him. That was wrong. Zero tolerance for drinking and driving. Rayshard Brooks resisted arrest when they went to handcuff him. He should have just let him handcuff him and dealt it in court. I know people go, well, no, patriotism if you're being falsely arrested. The guy was suspected of drinking and driving. He deserved to be handcuffed. End of. Rayshard Brooks started fighting with the police and allegedly punched one of them. That's wrong. Rayshard Brooks stole their taser. That's wrong. You don't take a cop's taser out of his hand. That will get you shot. Here's where it goes south for the cops, in my opinion. Now, well, Rayshard Brooks fired the taser at officers. Don't do that either. But once he fired it, it's now non-op. The taser was non-op. He was running away. He was 18 feet away, and the cop shot him twice in the back. I don't care what Rayshard Brooks did. It did not warrant an execution by being shot in the back from 18 feet away, running away. Oh, he had it. He could have been a danger to other people. Well, an airplane could fall out of the sky. Are they going to, take all airplanes out of the sky? People run red lights. They could crash into somebody and kill them. Are we just going to start shooting people in the back of the head on traffic stops who run red lights? You could have killed somebody. I'm just going to go ahead and execute you. People in car pursuits could kill people driving through town away from the cops. When they pull them over for theft or some misdemeanor, are we going to shoot them in the back of the head and go, well, hey, he could have killed somebody, man. Yeah, Rayshard Brooks could have been a danger to society. I doubt it. I'll tell you why. Because he was yelling, Mr. Wolf, Mr. Rolfe, Mr. Rolfe. So he had some semblance of courtesy in his heart and in his mind. Yeah, he was fighting with the cops, but I heard him say at least twice, Mr. Rolfe. He was saying, hey, look, what are you doing? No, he was wrong, but he was calling him Mr. Rolfe, not, hey, cop, hey, pig. He was saying Mr. Rolfe. He was being courteous. What does he get for it? He gets shot in the back from 18 feet away while running away. And you guys want to defend this cop who got all scared. I don't know what to do. He's getting away. He's not now. No, this cop should be charged with murder. Hands down. Yes, the police are being treated unfairly across the nation. I agree with that to a certain degree. But the ones who are brutalizing people, the ones who are assaulting people, the ones who are pushing 75-year-old men down on the back of their head are not being treated unfairly. They are thugs. They are bullies. They think their badge gives them the right to do any fucking thing they want, and you just live with it. I'm a cop. Well, now we're done with it. America is exhausted, and they're fighting back. And cops are going to start seeing fight back, and they're going to start seeing punishment, and they're going to start seeing prosecution, and they're going to start seeing the courtroom, because America is tired of it. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section below. Community Leo Watch, watching Leos. That's law enforcement officers from from coast to coast. I always want to say nation to nation, but I just try to watch American cops. Canadian cops, that's Canada, England. But I live in the United States, and in the United States, I'm watching you Leos.